being asked, hugely. And how can, what role would technology have in mental health and well-being, especially when we're talking about students? What impact would it have, let's say, using if they're using some form of technology?
There is a real question also, if we are going to move into a world, and I think it's unquestionable that we have, and we're not coming back from it, if we're going to move into a world where we're doing far more learning and teacher-student interaction in, if you like, in two dimensions, in a digital form of whatever form that takes. If we're going to move into that place, then we need a whole new way of managing that relationship between teacher and student and teacher. Why do we need that? Because actually, the way that works normally, or if you like, in the old conventional context, is that teachers have an acute sense of the child in front of them. They see them. There's body language. They see how they interact with other students, and they can get a real sense of where that young person is in terms of well-being, health, mental health, issues going on at home, whatever it may be. Now switch that into the on-screen environment, and it's pretty well impossible for the teacher to see down the tube. They can't register all of that. There are things that you can pick up. We're all learning a little bit more about this as we live in this world. But we also know, as soon as we get back face to face, that we realise what we've been missing. And so it's very clear that we're not going to move to an entirely on-screen world, because we actually have learned quite a lot, I believe, about how a human interaction can't be supplanted by a camera and a screen. Having said that, I think there's a really interesting area about thinking about how we're going to manage relationships when we're conducting them online. And it's a big question for teachers to start thinking about. What kind of questions do they need to ask groups of students, individual students, about how they are, what's going on in their domestic environment? How do teachers enable themselves, if you like, to listen in to the way students are interacting with each other, the things that they're saying to themselves, without obviously snooping. But we need to continue to have that access to children's inner lives, if you like, and that is a real struggle. And at the moment, I'm really not wholly convinced that all the management tools are there for that. By the way, this is true across all sectors. This is happening with workplaces as well. So I think it's quite important that the education world keeps an eye on the wider world in this context, to think through, what are the tools that we're going to need to be able to manage the relationship between teachers and students.
Yeah.